You're entering CNBC TV18's Fire Safe Studio, powered by Century Ply, now with firewall technology.
Welcome back. Well, CEAT is in focus. The company at its analyst meet last week gave some ambitious targets, aiming for leadership position in two-wheelers, three-wheelers and passenger car radial tyres over the next 5 years. The company has also launched a new range of tyres called Secura Drive for compact SUVs, a fast-growing segment. So many things to ask Amit Tolani, the Chief Marketing CMO, CEAT, who is joining us right now. Well, Amit, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, where do I begin? Let me begin with the SUV. That's the new range that you have launched. Now, how much does SUV contribute to you, and what's the business opportunity?
Good morning, and thanks for having me here. So the SUV segment, or the C-SUV segment, as we call it, the compact SUV segment, what we are seeing has been growing for more than 50% in the last 3 years CAGR. And we expect the growth momentum to continue. That's around 25% growth in terms of the vehicle potential and the tire park potential. For us, it used to be a small play, but over the past few years, we have introduced many platforms, many variants. And the Secura Drive SUV is targeted for these smart SUV, C-SUV segment consumers. In terms of our pie, these SUVs and this CSUV business contribute to close to 15 to 18%, and we have an ambition to take it up to 25 to 30%.
Okay, so the compact SUV and SUV segment currently is 15 to 18%, and you have an ambition to take it higher. So what does all of this mean for demand? You know, when we spoke to you post the Q4 numbers, you did mention that things are very slow. Dealerships, of course, were not open then. How has June been so far, not just in the SUV space, but overall, what kind of demand trends are you noticing?
Okay, ever since the second wave hit in, there was a bit of slowdown in April and in May. But June, so far, we've seen a lot of buoyancy in the aftermarket, the replacement market across segments. What we are seeing is that the consumer is afraid to use public utility transports, and he wants to use his own personal vehicle. And that augurs well for the industry, especially in the passenger space. That's the two-wheeler space from a point-to-point commute, or even a passenger car or a CUV or an SUV space. The commercial space slowed down a bit, but the commercial space runs the economy, right? The goods have to go from point A to point B. So there was a bit of blip there, but in June, we are seeing strong revival in the aftermarket. The OE space is subdued, as you all know. But the indications for July are strong, especially in the passenger space, both in the PCUV space and the two-wheeler space. The international market continues to be robust and buoyant.
Okay, you know, we were just having a discussion with a steel maker a while back. They told us about how raw material prices are just going through the roof, and they're passing it on to the OEMs. You've already taken a price hike of 4% in April and May combined. What has the plan been so far? In June, have you taken any price hikes, and will you be passing on more? What is the impact that all of this will have on margins?
So let's look at the two spaces. There's a B2C space, which is the aftermarket replacement, and there's the B2B space, which is the OE segment. The OE segment is driven by indexation as per published reports, and it is basis indexation that we get price increases or price adjustments are done. In the B2C space, there is competitive intensity that's also playing in the market. However, in this quarter, the first quarter of the year, we see that the raw material prices have gone up by 7 to 10%. We've already passed on 4%. We do have plans to pass on another hike at the end of this month. So that's the scenario right now, and we will go as per the competitive intensity.
Okay. Well, you know, how is demand more generally? I mean, where is it? Are you seeing it in two-wheelers, in passenger cars, in which segment?
So in the aftermarket, April and May were subdued, as I said. June, there is buoyancy. There is buoyancy in the passenger space. There is buoyancy in the two-wheeler space. When I say passenger, it's passenger car as well as two-wheelers. We see a lot of buoyancy there. We see some positivity that's coming in. Even the commercial segment in the aftermarket has picked up. The OE is yet to pick up, but the indications that we are getting for quarter two and early quarter two is that we should expect higher numbers from the OEMs as well as their inventories in their channels starts liquidating.
Well, since you gave ambitious 5-year targets, can you tell us what your capex is, and especially over the next 2 years, and if you could break it up into how much goes into trucks?
No, so as announced 2 to 3 years ago that we have a capital outlay of around 3,500 crores, and it's a part of that plan. And we also have an ambition to grow in the truck radial segment. We did complete our expansion of passenger car in Chennai, which should reach its first phase peak capacity in the next quarter. And that's where the new CSUV tires would come in from. And these CSUV tires would also be, this plant will also be used to supply to the international market. The truck capacity would be completed in the next 18 to 24 months. We have ambitions to double our share there. We were a significantly smaller player there, and the ambition is to have double our share in the market, in the commercial space as well, the truck radial space.
Okay. Okay, but all of this, of course, comes at a cost, right? You did speak in the analyst meet about how for the truck bus radial expansion, you have 700 crores of capex in phase 1 and 500 crores in phase 2. What does this mean for your debt? Currently, I think you're sitting at a little less than 1,400 to 1,450 crores. Will debt go up over the next 1 year, and how will you fund all of this?
As the CFO had pointed out, that there are clear laid out plans on the ratios on debt, and we will adhere to that. And we are quite confident, basis the demand and basis the aspirations that we have and basis the ambitions that we have to enter the premium segment, to enter the international segment, that it would be under control.
Okay. 1 minute, Amit. It's just that the market's opened and it's extremely flat, but it is not red, at least as of now. So just a word, it's okay, not really one of the big metal stocks. I thought there would be a big metal play, but it's more NTPC, Adani Ports. ONGC has a lot of tailwind. Its numbers were good, and any rise in crude prices should help. IT is also represented in the top 5 with Tech Mahindra. But let's wait and see. There were positive cues for IT as well from Accenture. But maybe we should allow the market to settle down and have more questions for Amit. Amit, I wanted to ask you, how will your margins pan out? Are you going to be able to maintain the current margins, or will you be able to, will you have to sacrifice some for the volume?
Okay, so volume gain is a long-term game. Okay, so the plan is for the next 2 to 3 years, as we've been communicating to all of you. So if you look at it from an expansion perspective, from a capacity perspective, we are set up for good growth. We've demonstrated good growth in the past. We are also ambitious, and we want to take leadership position in the PCUV space. We are already leaders in the 2-3-wheeler space, and that's the intent. So if these passenger categories grow, and with our foray into TBR and growing into TBR, we see that we should meet our growth targets, both top line and bottom line.
No, you were comfortably double digit. Will you be able to do that 14% that you all did in the second, third quarters, or will the margin may slip now? There's also raw material prices. Will you be able to get 14?
So there would be pressure on margins, as I explained, that the raw material increase has been at around 8 to 10%, 7 to 10%, and we've passed on around 4%. We intend to pass on another couple of percentage points in this month. However, you have to take a long-term view and also understand that the raw material, the price increases lag the raw material increase. So there is going to be that bit of a lag. From a growth perspective, with the new platforms coming in and our focus on consumer-centric platforms, no industry has got platforms that I'm speaking about today. That's the Secura Drive SUV, puts us in good stead to grow in the category and across categories as well.
Okay. Any new clients or fresh order wins that you've got, not just in SUVs, but overall?
See, in the OEM space, first let me talk about the SUV space. We have Volkswagen Skoda that's partnered with us. We are doing some critical projects with all leading OEMs, be it Hyundai, be it Kia, be it Maruti. Renault Nissan, we have a dominant share. In the OE space of two-wheelers and in the electric space, also we've tied up with all leading OEMs. Okay, we see that bit also coming up. And obviously the traditional OEMs continue to be with us. So yes, there has been a lot of effort and a lot of input in terms of getting new B2B OE clients for us.
Well, speaking of these kinds of marquee clients, Amit, what is the domestic export split? You all said in the conference call you are looking at a 3 times growth in international business. So if you can give us some more near-term this year itself, how much can that grow? And does it come with higher margins, international?
International business is at a relatively better margin amongst the 3 businesses: aftermarket, international business, and OEMs. This is how the business progresses. Yes, so there are ambitions to foray into different continents with different segments. We initiated our passenger car launch in go-to-market launch in Europe 2 years ago, and we supply more than 1 million tires there. We will continue to get into these developed countries, and the capacities that we've got with Chennai coming in, the new platforms that are coming in, and the new segments that we are entering in, we are confident of growth in the international business as well.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, exports are doing well, so that can be a big positive, a big tailwind. Amit Thulani, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us with a wealth of details about CEAT, and hope you have a safe year and a smooth ride as well. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so that's the word coming in, and it's the big USL block deal that you should be watching. We should have Nimesh very soon to tell us how many shares it is. 2.68% would be how many shares, and therefore how much more money comes to the banks. I think it's just about 160 crore. Nimesh and I had done the math some time back.
Yeah.
The big chunk is the UB shares.
Yes.
USL
it's 25 lakh shares, apparently. So
25 lakh.